5 ways to start making short form video content for a no budget. Number 1, POVs. POVs have been around for a while on social media, especially TikTok now, and there's tons of different point of views you can take. And I absolutely encourage you to be creative with it. Here's just some of my ideas around this. The point of view of a waitress would be very interesting for someone like me who has never worked as a waiter or waitress. A lot of people are fascinated by the logistics behind restaurants, and showing off that dynamic between a waiter, waitress, and kitchen staff, I think is a very interesting, cool idea that I haven't really seen so much before on TikTok or other social media. So that's one idea. Another idea would be of the owner. How is it to, organize and run a restaurant from like the top down? What goes behind planning? How do you set your prices, which I think is very important for transparency's sake. Another point of view could be strapping a phone or a GoPro on the chest of your chef and show them, like their actual hands and how they make the food. I've seen this done quite a lot before, but I think it's an amazing idea just to show the process of actually making the food. Then number 2, show off your suppliers. Like I said, transparency now is more important than ever for consumers, and this is one of the best ways to really show that. Where do you get your ingredients from? How are they sourced? Are they locally sourced? Are they internationally sourced if you have a specialty international restaurant? Whatever makes you and your food special, it needs to come from somewhere. I think once a dish lands on a menu, there's a whole history and story that goes behind it. Like, where are the influences from? Where did the idea come from? Is there a seasonal ingredient that you're trying to really show off? I think those are all super interesting and unique ideas, and you can start showing them off right when you take that box from your supplier. Number 3 are food challenges in general. And I don't mean eating challenges like man versus food or something like that. Maybe you find 2 people in your restaurant that are great on camera, and finding good on-camera talent is something I'm gonna get to later. And you have them compete in who can make the best pasta dish for $3 or $5 or whatever it is. Or you give a chef a $2 budget for a dish and another chef a $20 budget for a dish, and you'll see if the one dish is actually 10 times better than the cheap one. Just start getting creative. And also there's tons of YouTube channels and TikTok channels that already do these sorts of food related challenges, and get inspired. There's no shame in copying some ideas that you like and that you've found interesting, because other people will find them interesting too. Number 4, you probably don't just serve food, you serve other things too. And I'm talking mostly about drinks here. Why do you have that drink on the menu even? Why not something else? If you're more upscale and you want to sell expensive wine, people go crazy over wine. There's a whole culture behind wine and champagne and all that. Get your sommelier in front of the camera if he or she is good in front of the camera, and have them just explain to people why white wine pairs better with fish than red wine, for example. If you do mixed drinks like cocktails, get the bartender in front of the camera, start showing off your drinks, start showing people the recipes, what goes into them, like specialty liquors, whiskeys, bourbons, whatever it is you're using. Show that quality, show that value. It's basically the same thing as it is with food. Whatever lands in a glass or on a plate, I want to know where that comes from. I want to know why the price is where it is. I want to know what's special about it, why I should leave my house to go to your restaurant. So drinks, show them off. Tell me why they're special. And number 5, maybe the most important thing, is finding the right on-screen talent. All these ideas that I just given you are basically useless if you don't have a good way of making them, of communicating them. And in the case of video, that means people and faces and personalities. Find a person that's natural in front of the camera. Maybe they already do like TikTok on their own profile on the side, offer them a little bit more money, offer them like an hour or 2 off per week in exchange for making some videos. There's tons of deals that you can figure out with your employees, and that is your job to figure out what works for you and what works for them. But finding that on-screen talent, if it's not yourself, is one of the first steps, and I don't think you can really make this work without it. On the other hand, I want to disapprove of myself here a little bit. If you're, for example, not comfortable in front of the camera, you can absolutely still make content. If you're comfortable with talking and with voice, you can just, capture the vibe of your restaurant and then do a voiceover over it. In terms of a POV, you can still strap a phone to your chef's chest, film the whole thing, and if they're not comfortable with talking, you just pick up the phone, you do a voiceover explaining how the dish is coming together. So even if you might not find the greatest on-screen talent immediately, and it's maybe not you either, there's still ways to put all of these different ideas into action. And that is ultimately what it comes down to. You need to take action on this right now. Social media is not overcrowded. It's crowded, but there's tons of people living on it. Everybody we know looks at their phone like 800 times a day, and there is absolutely no shortage of people interested in your content, I promise you. And these are some things that should help you get started, but don't limit yourself to these couple of ideas. This is a starting point for you to get yourself into the game, as we say. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some ideas, and I'll see you in the next video.